Okay, this video is going to show you how to use this particular Mettler-Toledo pH meter. What we're going to do is make sure, and this is for any pH meter, you make sure you turn it on. It's not going to read anything unless you turn it on. So we turn on our meter and we see that it's fluctuating around 3 of pH. Our storage solution is right around 4, so that pH range is pretty close. If your pH meter has a safety cap or a storage cap, you want to make sure you remove that, or whatever kind of storing liquid that it's in, you need to make sure that you take that off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rinse the pH meter with deionized water first to make sure that we get that storage solution off, and that's what you're going to do in between each one of your measurements. So I'm rinsing that pH meter electrode, and I have 3 pH ranges. I have pH 4, I have pH 7, and I have pH 10. And what we're going to do is we're going to calibrate it, all 3 of those, to make sure that we've got a good pH range for each one of our solutions. Alright, so I'm going to put it in our pH 4 buffer, and right now it's reading about 3.7, which is good. We want to push the cal button, or the calibrate button, and it's going to blink. And what it's doing is it's looking for the closest pH range to the solution that we put it in. So for this particular solution, it's a pH 4 buffer, so we see that it's fluctuating right around 3.6, 3.2, right in that general area, so that's good. What we want to do is we're going to wait until it stops blinking. It may take a few minutes to get to a good calibration point. Going up a little to about 3.4, 3.5-ish. But in just a second it should find that pH 4, since that's what it's closest to, and use that as its calibration point. This particular pH meter also takes the temperature if you needed that for a reading, and sometimes that makes a difference in your solution. So it's good to know that right now we're right around 20 degrees. Okay, so now it's picked up the pH 4, which is what we wanted it to do. So I'm going to move that solution over. I'm going to first rinse it with DI water again. Make sure I get it good and rinsed, all that pH 4 buffer off. I'm going to push read so it's ready to make its next reading. I'm going to put it in the pH 7. You'll see that it jumps up to 6.7, 8, 6.8, in the range of the pH 7, which is good, which means that our meter is working pretty well. We want to press calibrate again. And again, it's blinking down in that bottom part in the calibration area. So it's trying to find that close calibration range. Right now it's at it jumped up to 7.02, which is good, which is right where we want it to be. So it's found the pH 4, it's found the pH 7, we're going to try the pH 10 now. Again, we're going to rinse it. We want to make sure that in between each reading you get all the solution off, because sometimes you're going from a high pH to a very low pH. And so we want to make sure that we're not getting any cross-contamination. So we're going to press read, and the meter should jump immediately up, and it did, to about 9.91, 9.93. We can give it a second to kind of read it. We're going to press calibrate again. What it's going to do, it's going to look for that pH range closest to it, which will be that pH 10, and it's right at 9.9 right now. So we should, just a couple seconds, it should find that 10 and level out. Okay, it has found it, but then it stopped blinking just now, a little closer to 9.25, which is okay. We've already done the other 2 pH ranges. We know that it will go up to that pH 10 and give us a pretty good reading. So that's what we're going to use. I'm going to go ahead and rinse this off again, and now I can use this for another reading. And now that I've calibrated it, I know that it will go to all 3 of those pH ranges. I'm going to press read again, and I have an acetic acid solution, and we're going to see what the pH is of that. We know that acetic acid is a weak acid, so, and it's giving us a pH reading of 2.01. It's already going down a little more. Once the pH levels off, once it stops moving, that's when you've got a pretty accurate reading. And right now it's right around 1.92. So I'm gonna go with 1.9 as our pH rating for this acetic acid solution. And acetic acid is a pretty strong acid with respect to the weak acid, so we're in good shape.